When doing a specific activity, have you ever felt like you're just going in circles? You look at a wall clock and see its hands ticking on numbers 1 to 12 to note the passing of time. You imagine your life to be a long passage of time. But these supposedly bland passages of time become documented. Some highlights are kept, even treasured, to be stored in your long-term memory. And even when numerous revolutions around the sun have passed, some dates in previous calendars are specially marked. The memory may be 15 years ago, when you were 5 and you had your first crush in grade school. It may be about the day you met your first boyfriend or girlfriend 2 years ago. The memory might be precious. It might make you smile out of nostalgia, especially when you're with your partner today, looking at him or her at this very moment. But the memory might hurt, especially when you're no longer with the one you love. Didn't you ever just wish you could forget a specific person and go on without them? Won't you buy the chance to wake up one day without any hurtful trace of that one person? The film Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind might want to make you reconsider taking that choice. Initially released in 2004, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is a sci-fi film?
Here, Mr. Barish is actually creating a map of your brain.
Okay.
Maybe. A romantic comedy?
Why do I fall in love with every woman I see who shows me the least bit of attention?
Kind of. A suspense film? You could look at it that way. You could not exactly point out the genre of the film. Nonetheless, it has re-emerged and garnered acclaim from audiences and critics in the past few years. However, early reviews of the film deemed it to be confusing and uninspired. The Baltimore Sun even wrote, Kaufman and Gundry could be conducting a comedy lab on whether they could make lame gags spring to life by repeating them from different perspectives. They could also be conducting a romance movie lab with Clementine's amorous coups. She likes to race into Boston when the Charles River freezes over so she can slip and slide and rest on it with her current view. Even though early reviews were confused on what genre the film should belong to, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind didn't seem to care about its genre, but rather to its concept that is undoubtedly ahead of its time. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind follows the story of Joel Barish, played by Jim Carrey, a protagonist that has the usual traits of Charlie Kaufman's protagonists: reserved and erratic, almost dysfunctional man, just like other films he wrote like Anomalisa or Being John Malkovich. In Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, we follow Joel's memories through his attempt to forget Clementine, played by Kate Winslet, an impulsive girl that seems to possess all the characteristics a manic pixie dream girl would have. The use of flashbacks as a storytelling device has always been a debated thing among screenwriters. When masterfully used, a flashback can add depth to a character or the story itself. However, some writers see that the use of flashbacks is one of the laziest ways to explain a story to the audiences, as you are dealing with the past instead of working on the present. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind uses flashbacks in an outstanding and unique way. Majority of the film are flashbacks of Joel and Clementine's derailed relationship. However, even if the past is actively shown to us and disappears into our very eyes, it is also being deleted in Joel's memory. So the film twists flashbacks in a particular way. What if the flashback was just a flash, and you could not go back to it again? Return to. Get a bowl of your favorite chips as we discuss your favorite flick here in Flick and Chips. Falling in love is kind of scary. Meeting new people is kind of scary. As a consequence, you'll make memories with these people. Memories you have to keep even when those people are gone. Falling in love and creating memories over and over again may make you cynical on love. As Joel Barish commented on Valentine's Day at the beginning of the film,
Valentine's Day, 2004. Today is a holiday invented by greeting card companies to make people feel like crap.
This may give us a hint that Joel had bad experiences with relationships before, as his view of Valentine's Day has already been tainted with cynicism. The following introspections of Joel about him easily falling in love with anyone who gives him a bit of attention And how he finds it difficult to make eye contact seems to be quirky, as he even skipped work to impulsively go to Montauk. But some details don't fit the quirkiness. A dent in the car, a 2-year gap in Joel's journal. This subtly implies that something strange might have happened. Yet, the strangeness was concealed by the sequence's musical score. The opening sequence, with the aid of John Ryan's musical scoring, painted the feeling of innocence, the feeling of a new start, a peak of Joel's state of mind. Joel's mind is a spotless mind. He didn't know that the car dent was caused by Clementine, the girl he's bumping into right now. He didn't know that the lost pages in his journal were also about her. And they both don't know that they were lovers who had a derailed relationship back then, but had chosen to forget one another. As Nietzsche was quoted by Mary, Dr. Merzweck's assistant,
"Blessed are the forgetful, for they get the better even of their blunders."
and now that they're both strangers to each other, a new yet familiar chemistry was around them. Now, Clementine finds out that Joel doesn't know about Huckleberry Finn, a song which her name was often associated with and joked about. But then, it was Joel who first associated that song to Clementine, an association that caused the song to be forgotten. Now, Clementine's hair is called Blue Ruin. But then, the drink they had on their first date and what Clementine jokingly called them was 2 blue ruins. Now, in the train, as they talk about Clementine's habit of dyeing her hair, she mentioned that she would call an orange dye Agent Orange, which is also a destructive chemical. Then, when Clementine had orange hair, it was called tangerine, which Joel describes as ripe and juicy. A similar stimuli garners different interpretations in the past and in the present, because Joel and Clementine's supposedly first meeting wasn't actually their first. The heartwarming tangerine in the past may be now twistedly associated with Agent Orange now. In this way, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind explored the poignant horror of familiarity. There is a saying, familiarity breeds contempt. According to Oxford Languages, the saying implies that an extensive knowledge of or close association with someone or something leads to a loss of respect for them or it. That is why when Joel and Clementine met again, they had high respects for each other. They quickly apologized for coming off as rude. And when Mary sent them their Lacuna tapes, they were surprised at how insulting they described each other. Descriptions they did not think they were going to say. That's because they were unfamiliar to each other, and right now, they had no idea how capable they are in hurting each other. Amazingly enough, while Joel was forgetting Clementine, he effectively constructed Clementine's image and personality, which made him realize how much he needed to be familiar with Clementine.
I wish I knew you when I was a kid.
Because Clementine was also familiar with his issues, and she makes Joel suffer in a familiar way. Clementine pushes Joel to go out of his comfort zone. Joel tries to keep Clementine organized from her impulsiveness. Their familiarity acted as a temporary rest from their usual life. However, they bred contempt in the long run. The end of the film suggested that while there seems to be no way to escape it but to forget, it might be better to accept other people's issues than try hard to change them. As Joel said, okay.
Okay.
Well, that's all we could chip in for the flick we discussed today. Support our channel by liking this video and subscribing. As always, this has been Flick and Chips.